Welcome to the summary for our series, trying to locate the sons of Noah and where they really went to. In this video we're going to be speaking about the land of Shem. So this is my map that I've done for the sons of Shem, and we've got 5 sons of Shem to speak about. So let's start with Elam. So I've got Elam here in East Africa. Now we spoke quite a lot about this important point because of the way Jubilees says that the whole land of India, so the whole land of India fell for Elam. So we did the video speaking about this confusion, the confusion between Ethiopia and India in the ancient world, and we said that there was those sources that told us that even parts of East Africa were called India. So that's why I said that, I'm still happy to have Elam here in East Africa because of that detail, that some parts of East Africa were called India. But then one of our viewers was saying that, we mustn't rule out and forget about, the idea of Pangaea. Let me show you a map. This idea of Pangaea, a single landmass, and the idea that the Earth's changed a lot. Maybe, the Earth's changed a great deal since the 3 suns divided the Earth. But I did bring this up when we spoke about Elam because it was very interesting how they have India connected to East Africa. So we can see this potential connection with Ethiopia and India, the way they've done this this animation or this digital image. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility that the land of Elam could comprise all of India as well. So I won't rule that out because we spoke about this the Elamite and the Dravidian language connection, this theory that there could be a connection between the Elamites and the Dravidians of India. That's so yeah, I won't rule that out. So I've got Elam here, in East Africa, but definitely this this connection, the way the Book of Jubilees describes, the whole land of India being for Elam. I won't also rule out that it could be speaking about what we know as India today. Now another important detail for Elam is Susa, because we learned that Elam was also known as Susiana, and that's derived from its capital Susa. And we spoke about this this land of Sennaar. The land of Sennaar, could this be the land of Shinar of the Bible? But we see it also says Sennaar or Susa. So I was wondering whether this Susa could be connected to Elam. And another thing that I want to speak about with Elam is what we spoke about, that we wanted to speak about Madai. You see we've got Madai here with a question mark. Madai, a son of Japheth. Now we learned in the previous video that Madai, he asked for land from Elam and Ashur and Arphassad, and we did a video about Madai living with Elam and Arphassad, and we did a video and we said, we see here we got Midian. Could this be the land of Midian of the Bible? So could the Medes be connected with this Midian here? But then we also should be expecting to find Medes living with Elam, because we read this source, ancient Media and Persia were Cushite, and we're just going to say we're going to try to speak a bit more about that. Now in this this page on Elam, we've got a description of some Elamites on these glazed brick reliefs. Now the source says that some of these Elamites are depicted as white, brown, and another so dark that it is almost black. Now I'm not sure about the choice of language there, but I'm just reading the source as it's written. But it's saying that there could be a varied appearance with the Elamites. But maybe we could explain that if we think about this detail from Jubilees about Madai, a son of Japheth, coming to live amongst Elam, and maybe that could answer that varied appearance. So we've got Medes living amongst Elam, but we must also think about this region. If this is right the way we've got it laid out, we know that the Ethiopians are going to be very involved in this region and having a big influence on this region. So there could be intermarrying between Elam and Cush, and maybe also the Medes and Cush. So just maybe get an idea of of why we could have this described like this. Ancient Media and Persia were Kushite, because we know that the Persians come out of Elam, but it could be this intermarrying with the Ethiopians, and we might be able to get a better feeling for it the way this could be laid out, with Elam being in the near vicinity of the kingdom of Kush, and also Madai or Medes living in this region as well. So I just wanted to speak about that to try see if we can get a better feeling for that. Okay, let's go to the next son, which is Ashur. Now we've kind of already mentioned this, but there's a very important detail that it's saying that the land of Shinar is in the territory of Ashur. And what we're trying to connect is this Senad connected with the land of Shinar. So that would be important for the land of Assyria. So that's why I've got Ashur, because it kind of skirts along the river the way it describes here. It ascendeth and skirteth the river, but you also see it says that it borders India. So that's why we did that video about some of these regions of East Africa being called India, because it wouldn't make sense to have Assyria here or Ashur if that's speaking about what we know as India today. Then this wouldn't quite work. So that's why I spoke about that that some parts of East Africa were known as India, so that this could still work with Ashur here, and that the Book of Jubilees describing the land of Ashur bordering India. Okay, let's speak about before we actually move on, I just want to say that there's some of these details I don't know. I don't want to try to pretend like I know all this information, like the mountains of Ashur. I said I'm not sure about that detail. So some of these things I'm not sure about. It definitely definitely needs a bit of help to try to put this all together. I'm just putting forward what's to the best of my ability what I've been able to work out, but it definitely needs more work and more investigation. And these things are all subject to change. Let's look at Arphassad. Now Arphassad I've put here like this because we did speak about some of these descendants of Arphassad, because we have these nations of Arphassad like the Ishmaelites, the Edomites, the Israelites, the Moabites, and the Ammonites. And we did this video where we spoke about was Esau in the land of Zaire, Congo. Now some viewers were speaking about this, that some people with local knowledge, saying they they weren't happy with that connection. Some people were happy with it and they were very interested in that connection. But interesting that maybe we have these descendants of Esau living in this region, and maybe that connection with Zaire is it could be important, that one, because then we get an idea of descendants of Arphassad living in this region. And we did another video about Moabites, with the biblical Moabites living in Gabon and Cameroon, because we saw a place called Moabi in Gabon. So I just did those videos to try to get an idea of some of these biblical nations, because then it might give us an idea of the Holy Land, because these are descendants of Arphassad. So that's kind of influencing me why I've got this like I have. But we also, it says here that the Chaldees come out for Arphassad, and we spoke about the Chaldees was Abraham born in Nigeria, Ur of the Chaldees. So I've got this feeling about Nigeria and Arphassad, so that's why I put it like this. But definitely, like I said, definitely subject to change if some better ideas come out about this. Okay, now the next one is Lud. Now you can see I've got Lud here with a question mark, because it's interesting how he seems to be a little bit detached from his brothers. And in the video I said I was looking in North Africa, but I was a bit unsure about Lud. But let's have a look to see what we spoke about. Now there's one source that we said was interesting, was that there was a river Lud along the south of the Atlas Mountains, near the river Put. So the Atlas Mountains are in North Africa. So that was an interesting connection. That was one reason why we were speaking about looking for Lud in this region. but there was this confusion between, is this Ludim speaking about Lud, son of Shem, or is it speaking about Ludim, son of Mizraim? So I was saying we have to be careful with this, because there's confusion. But we do have this connection with the Ludim and Tunisia. So it could be interesting, this region of Tunisia potentially for Lud, because if we see, let's look at the description by Jubilees, because it's actually looking at Japheth that helps us with Lud, because it says here, and for Javan came forth the fourth portion of every island, and the islands which are towards the border of Lud. So there seems to be a close proximity between Javan and Lud. And here it says also, and for Tubal there came forth the fifth portion, in the midst of the tongue which approaches towards the border of the portion of Lud. So also a connection with Tubal and Lud. Now if we look at this one, it says that, the midst of the tongue. So the midst of the midst of the tongue which approaches towards the border of the portion of Lud, to the second tongue. So we were looking at, if we go to a different map, let's go to this map. Now we were speaking about Tubal in this region. So what I was thinking is that this could be reaching towards the border of Lud. And we've also got this connection with Javan. And if we go to a few Bible verses, we can see that we have this connection with Tarshish and Tubal and Javan and Lud. We see how Lud is mentioned alongside Tarshish, Tubal and Javan. So there seems to be this connection with Lud living close to the sons of Japheth. But there's also this verse which speaks about Lydia being connected also alongside Libya. So it's very interesting because we spoke about Libya in this region. So I think this connection with Lud in North Africa is very interesting, and being close towards some of the sons of Japheth. And we did say we found some interesting information towards the end of the series, which also made us think about Lud and Spain. So I'm getting more happy connecting Lud up in this region of North Africa, but yeah, it's interesting how it seems to be a bit disconnected from his brothers. But that maybe could be because maybe we don't fully understand. Well, I'll say I don't fully understand some of these details, of Jubilees. We'll speak about that towards the end. But this is the best. This is how I feel about it at the moment. And the final son we can look at is Aram. Now on here I've got Aram in this region, and this Damisak, because Damisak is an important Aramean kingdom. Sorry, what I should say is if we go to what I want to say is Damascus, sorry, was an important kingdom for Aram. But what I've done here is I put Damisak. I didn't want to put Damascus because that could be, misleading, because until we can definitely connect Damisak with Damascus, we can't really, you can't put Damascus on the map here. But this is important because we spoke about this Damisak in Nigeria, and wondering if we could connect it to Damascus, and that would be very important for this map for Aram. The Greeks called the land of Aram Syria. And then if you can, if we could find information, or if we could get some proof, or maybe even local knowledge to help us connect this Damisak with Damascus, it's going to help with our knowledge of the Holy Land. Because if this verse think about this verse from 2 Samuel, it says, he put garrisons in the Aramean kingdom of Damascus, and the Arameans became subject to him and brought tribute. The Lord gave David victory wherever he went. So King David subdued the Aramean land, even Damascus. So that's very important to know where Damascus is, and it would help with the knowledge of Israel, because then this would start to be like the northern border of the kingdom of Israel. These Aramean lands would be kind of marking out the northern border. So it would be very important to make some of those connections and be more confident with them. And another thing for Aram is, it says that the land of Ararat or Arara is in the land of Aram. And we spoke about Arara or Ararat or Uraratu. And we spoke about the the capital of Urartu was Tushpa. So we wondered if this Tushpa could be connected to the capital of Urartu, and thinking about this land as the land of Urartu, which would also support the idea of this being the land of Aram. Okay, so those are some of the things that we spoke about in our series for Shem, for why I've got this laid out the way I have. But I just want to speak about a few other things before we finish, because I found this site showing some other scholars and their work on Jubilees. I'll put this link in the description if you want to look at some other scholars of what they've done. But I just want to show you this one, because you see how they've got the land of Ham, very similar to the way we did with our oblong shape. You can see how the land of Ham is more North Africa, but it doesn't include the whole of Africa, the whole continent. So this is very interesting, because we can see that Ham is connected with Africa, but not all of Africa is in the territory of Ham, the way they've got this laid out. There's a big part of Africa missing. So that's why I'm putting forward this theory and this idea to try and maybe help with this study of Jubilees, because we can maybe answer what's missing, why the land of Ham only really comprises of this northern region of the continent, but a large part of the continent is not accounted for with these other scholars. And I'm putting forward that it could be connected with the land of Shem. And we can see a large part is missing, but then you see they've got Shem towards the east of Ham. But we spoke about the way Jubilees describes towards the east of Egypt will be the land of Ethiopia, and we said that could be a bit of a discrepancy. But if you're interested, I'll put these, and you can see what these other scholars have done. So yeah, what we put forward in our theory is going to be different to what they've done, because the main difference is going to be what we've done for Shem is going to be the major difference. So what do you think about this map and the land of Shem? And we spoke about Medah. I don't think we spoke about Canaan. Now I've got Canaan here because we said that Canaan was supposed to dwell in West Africa, but he preferred the land of Shem. So that would mean Canaanites living in the land of Shem. So we should be looking for evidence of Canaanites, in the land of in this land of Shem. And that may have affected this territory. It might have caused problems in this land. With having a lot of Canaanites, it might have affected this region for these sons of Shem, and it might have caused some problems, and definitely problems for the Holy Land when the Israelites were coming out of Egypt and having to fight against the Canaanites. But yeah, so we've covered those details, and like I said before, what I've presented, I'm definitely not saying that it's 100%, because I don't understand all these things in Jubilees. Like, I don't know about the Sea of Ma'uk and the Sea of Atel. I don't understand or know where these places are. Some of these scholars have tried to do a good job in putting this together, but I'm not going to try to pretend like I know about all these different things. I've just tried to do the best I can with Jubilees, but then also kind of using hindsight and history and about what we know, working kind of backwards, because we know about Egypt and Libya, and we know about some of these kingdoms of Japheth, some of their sons, and maybe trying to work backwards, we can also put the picture together as well, not just using purely Jubilees on its own. But yeah, thank you for watching this series, and hope you, if you haven't watched the series, I've got a playlist. We've got it all in a playlist if you'd like to watch the series. So I think now we're going to be finished with this summary and this series, and then we'll try, I'd like to speak more about these descendants of Arphassad and think about some of these nations, like the Israelites and the Edomites and the Ishmaelites. But yeah, can't make any promises, and we don't know what's going to happen. So I'd like to do some work on the Israelites and the Edomites and the Ishmaelites and speak about some of these nations. But thank you for watching this video and this series, and we'll see you in the next video.